So I've been promising to do a video about this for a while. Maybe I haven't been promising the viewers, but I've certainly been promising Kingston. So I unboxed their notebook upgrade kit with the 128GB SSDNow V-Series drive quite a while back, and so what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to upgrade a notebook with it. So this is my Ghetto Fabulous notebook. It's a little on the old side. It's got a 7900 GT mobile in it. Oh, I'm in my pajamas now, you can totally see that. Oh well, whatever, it's YouTube. So it's got a dual core 2.0 gigahertz processor in it. It's got 4 gigs of RAM. I don't know if I already said the GPU, I got distracted by the pajama thing. 7900 GT, so it's a little on the older side, but it's still perfectly functional. Looks like I've gone and forgotten my screwdriver, so I guess I'll just go get my backpack here, which contains all of the tools that I need for upgrading a notebook. Alright, so that's the first thing you'll need. Yes, checklist. So, notebook, check. SSD, check. Screwdriver, uncheck. Oh, there's the hard drive boost. I've been looking for that. Okay, I found it. Also a spoon, some business cards for NCIX, where I work, and another spoon for whatever reason. This is getting pretty personal. Okay, there we go. Phillips head jeweler screwdriver. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is locate wherever it is that we need to open up to get at the hard drive. So it fits anywhere a standard 2.5-inch hard drive does. So we're just going to go ahead and start opening up the case of this notebook. And then the parts of the process that are going to be sort of more difficult are the ones where we're actually going to transfer all of the data from my existing hard drive, which I believe is a Western Digital Scorpio of some sort. And we will take all of that data, transfer it over to the SSD, and then in theory the whole upgrade is completely seamless, and besides my computer being faster, I would never notice any difference. Gotta adjust my camera here. I've had a few people ask me how I mount the camera here, and rather than answer that question, I'm going to make that one of the mysteries, like who is the cameraman? How does Linus hold the camera while he is working with both of his hands? And the answer is not a hat, contrary to what some of you may believe. It is not a hat. Okay, so here we go. We just pry it up right there. Hopefully I don't lose any screws, because that would be pretty much a disaster. I don't have like replacement screws for my laptop. Okay, here we go. So the inside of the laptop. See, my fan's pretty dirty. Let's just blow on that. I got some RAM, some Buffalo RAM. I got my wireless card. There's the GPU. It's got like these huge heat sinks on it. Okay, let's get to the point. Oh, wow, my well, that's kind of neat. So the way this, the way the hard drive mounts in my system, you can see it is a SATA hard drive, but it looks like the screws that we took off here are actually the ones that are holding the hard drive in. So it was that simple. So here we go. Oh, that's interesting. There's some kind of like RMA notes on this. I don't remember anything about that. Looks like it doesn't format. Well, the drive works fine for me. It's been working for months. So what we do now is you can see that this particular notebook uses the bottom mounting holes. So you've got a couple of different options for notebook manufacturers for mounting the hard drive. You can either use the side holes, which are here, or you can use the bottom one. So this one, as I said 3 seconds ago, uses the bottom one. So we'll just take off all these screws. And that was it. We have removed the hard drive. So the next step is going to be the SSD kit. So I'm just going to take that out of there. I'm going to once again move that. Hope I don't lose any screws. So notebook upgrade kit. Inside here we will find everything we need to upgrade the notebook. So here is the drive cloning software. That's going to be key. Next we have the SSD itself. So why don't we go ahead and do the SSD installation process here. So I'm just going to sort of figure out how I need to orient this. So it needs to go in this way. So it uses all the same standard mounting holes that a hard drive does. You get a lot of questions from people about like how SSDs work compared to hard drives. Like, do you need to configure anything in the BIOS, or do you need to you know, reinstall Windows, or there's all kinds of different questions, like, is my system compatible with an SSD? And the answer is, if your computer works with a hard drive, it pretty much works with an SSD. An SSD doesn't appear any different to the system than a hard drive does. The only difference is that it just gets the data for it a lot faster. So, if anything, your system will be happier with you for giving it an SSD to work with. Okay, so there we go. Standard SATA interface. So just go ahead and plug that in right there. Just slide that right on in there. Hopefully that goes without breaking anything. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that was pretty straightforward. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take my old drive and we're going to use the included drive enclosure. So, whatever. We're going to use the included drive enclosure right here, and we are going to install this old drive in it. So I'm going to just unlock this so that I can actually get it open. Go ahead and, again, standard SATA interface, you just slide that right in there. Okay, it is now officially installed. Okay, slide that back. Alright, so now we just need a USB cable. I think I got a spare one anyway, so I don't really need to unpack that, but whatever. Okay, we'll just unpack it. You can never have enough USB cables. That's one of the rules of life, or at least tech life anyway, because there's always going to be a situation where you're running all over the place looking for one and you can't find it. And I appear to have a visitor. Don't lose the screws. Okay. Alright, he's interested in the computer. Hi, Rumble. Okay, please don't step on the inside of my computer. Look at this, he's stepping on my new SSD. Maybe it will be infused with cat strength and agility now. And if that doesn't happen, then hopefully at least it's not ruined. Alright, so we're going to close up the laptop. That was it. That's how easy it is to change the hard drive in a laptop. I mean, maybe yours is a little bit tougher, but usually you got like a diagram on the outside of the casing that shows you where to access the hard drive. And ah, stupid cat. No, 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 no. Okay, you get down. You go down over there. Thank you. He went after one of the screws that I dropped because he heard the sound of it falling. And so he decided that that was a good thing to hunt and probably eat if I'd let him have it. They eat bugs, you know. I actually really don't like bugs. This is something I've never mentioned on my video blog before. I hate bugs. So I found a spider in my bathtub the other day, and rather than deal with it myself... Oh, thank you for helping me. Rather than deal with it myself, I decided that I'd just sick the cat on it. So it took him about, I don't know, 20 seconds to figure out what to do with the spider and to dispatch it for me. Okay, go on. Rotten thing. Okay, these screws are not going in for some reason. Hopefully that will be remedied soon. Go ahead and screw these in. Okay, so once we're done this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the USB cable to access the old hard drive once I turn the system on. And then I'm going to use the included cloning software that Kingston, well, includes. And I'm going to transfer all of the data. What I'm going to hope now, something that I totally didn't think of already, is that... Okay, get off the computer, cat. There we go. What I'm going to hope now is that I don't have too much data on that hard drive to actually transfer it to a 128 gig SSD, because that's one of the big disadvantages that you run into with SSDs, is that there just isn't as much storage space on them as a comparable hard drive. So here we go. Let's plug that in. Oh, great, my battery's not charged on my laptop. Okay, I'll be back in a moment. Laptop's plugged in now, so we're just going to start it up. And by we, I mean me in my pajamas. And I've plugged in the 2.5-inch drive here. Oh, and what I've forgotten to do is open up the optical bay here, and then put in the SSD hard drive cloning software. So, just like that. And hopefully I have this configured to boot to a disk first. That is my hope. There. Hold on to that. Starting Acronis loader, yay! Okay, I brought, never mind, I didn't bring anything. Okay, when Acronis True Image HD, so we just click that. That was simple. Something that you might have to do if your laptop is not already configured to boot from the optical drive is that you'll have to go into the BIOS and just set your optical drive as the next boot device. So it may not be quite this simple for you, but it should be pretty similar. Something else I thought about installing in my laptop is the Momentous XT, because this is a pretty good compromise between hard drive and SSD, but it's, I mean, if you got an SSD, it's pretty much the best way to go. So I see now that my mystery of how I mount my camera here has now been officially revealed. I just have a little tripod that's on my chest, so I can kind of adjust the angle like this. Now you can't see anymore. Haha. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to click Clone Disk. We're going to click Next to continue, and we're going to hope that I don't have too much data on here. So manual. I don't know why, but I've had more success with manual in the past. So the source old disk is going to be on the USB interface here. It's going to be the for some reason, oh yeah, Kingston hard drive enclosure. So we click Next. And then the destination new disk is going to be the 128 gig Kingston SSD. Next. The destination drive contains some partitions. Yeah, go ahead and delete those partitions. There shouldn't be anything on there that I need. Choose whether you want to keep the data. No, I want to destroy that data. Go ahead and click Next. Choose data destroying parameters. Oh, just do it quickly. Oh, who cares about this? Okay, select the data moving method. Should be proportional. So proportional, what that does is it keeps the original, it scales the original partition. So if I have a 320 gig partition and I only have 100 gigs of data, or if I'm transferring it to a new drive that's 128 gigs and I have 80 gigs of data, it'll just make it, instead of a 320 gig partition with 80 gigs of data, it'll make it a 128 gig partition with 80 gigs of data. So proportional is definitely the way I want to go here. And then I click Next. And then in theory, this is going to work really well. And when I turn the camera back on, I'll be showing you how I'm booted up to my laptop with my new SSD. Well, after a fair bit of waiting, actually, it looks like there's this copy of Acronis is a little bit different from the one that I've used in the past. So you can see it compares what the partitions are going to look like before and after cloning. So go ahead and press Next again. So click Proceed to Start. Aha, this is what I was expecting to happen when I pressed Next last time. So I'll be back shortly. It is now the following morning, and I have to confess I was a little surprised at how long Acronis took to clone the drives, because the version that I normally use only takes about 20-25 minutes. Mind you, I'm normally using SSDs, because most of the times I've done cloning, it's like for my SSD comparison or whatever else. But either way, here we are. We can keep going with this project. The whole thing probably took, I mean, it had been running for 2 to 2.5 hours by the time I went to bed. And then it was showing it was maybe like 40 to 50% done. So I'm guessing the whole thing took 4+ hours. Anyway, we're done now. So we'll go ahead and exit Acronis. And then once that's exited, I guess we can just open up the disk drive here. And so the hope... Oh, it went and shut it down. Okay, so we unplug the old hard drive, which is in this enclosure. We turn on the computer. And then I'm just going to open up the disk drive here so I make sure it doesn't boot to that. And in theory, it's going to boot up to the SSD. So let's see how this goes. I'll let you guys have this experience with me, where we find out if this worked. There's my cat. He's a morning person. He's fighting with the twist tie, or he was, and then I turned around, so now he stops. Booting up Windows XP. Something to bear in mind is if you're running Windows XP, it's probably not ideal to use a cloning utility. I mean, it'll work for the time being, but you're not going to get the best performance because it's quite likely that your partitions are going to be unaligned or misaligned, or however that would work. So I'm not going to show you guys my password if that's all the same to you. But there we go. So that was it. Those are my Linux distros.